Hi everyone, welcome to the first video of my crypto channel where I share with you my crypto journey. So all my crypto holdings are exclusively on the Solana chain, which is why I will be introducing protocols that are mainly on the Solana chain itself. So the first protocol that I'm going to introduce here is Solend. In this video, we are only going to be touching on how to get started with using Solend. We are not going to talk about the risks, the technical, and how to invest and things like that. We are only going to talk about how to use Solend. So if you have never used Solend before and you are keen to use this, start using this protocol, then you may want to watch this video because I will just be sharing with you all the various functions on this protocol and just how to use it. Alright. So the first thing you're going to have to do when you are using Solend is, of course, to go to the correct website, solend.fi. Okay, there are many. I don't know if Solend have any other scam websites, but this is the website that you should be going to. The first thing you should do is to connect your wallet. The wallet has to be a Solana wallet. Okay, so for me, I'm using the Phantom wallet. I think there are some other wallets like Solend and things like that. Okay, so this is my test account where I just mess around with things. That's why there's not much holdings inside here. So in your Phantom wallet, you must have some SOL for gas fees. So many times if your transaction fail, it's because you do not have any enough SOL inside your wallet balance. You need to keep, I think, 0.05 at least. Okay. So Solend is a lending protocol, which means the things you do on Solend is to borrow, to lend. Okay. So let's just take a look at the various functions. There are a couple of coins listed here, not a lot, only a few. Okay, because Solend is still pretty new, so they are still in the midst of adding new coins, but I think the vetting process does take a while. So right now, these are the only coins that are available here. Okay, so you have a few things to look at. Of course, you have the total supply. That's the total. Let's just look at Solana, for example. This is the Solana coin. This is the total number of Solana coin that's supplied to Solend. And these are the total number of Solana that's being borrowed out. As you can see, there's 1.2 million being supplied and only 570 being borrowed, which is why the APY is like your interest rate. Okay, so it's an annual rate, is 4.8%. Okay, but take note, when you hover over this 4.8%, you will see that it's a 3% supply APY and a 1.79% Solend reward. Okay, SLND is Solend's governance token. So they give us APY in the native token that you supply plus the Solend token. Okay, meaning, let's say you supply 1 Solana to this protocol, okay, it will pay you a 3% return in Solana and a 1.79% return in Solend token. Okay, so if you see 4.8%, it doesn't mean 4.8% return in Solana. It's only 3% in Solana and 1.79% in Solend. Okay, so if you go to other protocols, other supply protocols that when you lend it to them or when you supply to them, usually they will give a higher rate in the native APY. Okay, so just take note of that. Okay, but not many of them have this borrow function that Solend has, so that's what makes it worthwhile to use the Solend protocol instead. Okay, so how does this Solend reward work? Okay, we're going from top down. If you look at the top here, I think if you're just starting out, you should have 0. Okay, but the moment you start borrowing, you will start to accrue Solend tokens. Okay, this is only temporary. They will be changing this to another reward system called the options. More details will be released. I will do another video when the time is here. But right now they are giving Solend tokens. Okay. So as because I am supplying and borrowing stuff, so I am earning Solend. So you can see all the Solend earnings here. Okay, so whether you supply or you borrow, you will earn Solend. Okay, so when you supply, let's say you supply 1 Solana, you will actually earn 3% in Solana and 1.79% in Solend tokens. If you borrow Solana, you will pay a 6.72% interest, but you will earn 3.99% in Solend, which is why even though you are paying a 6% interest, it's only listed as a 2.73% because they took the 6% that you're paying and they deducted the 3.99% that you earn back in Solend tokens from the interest rate. Okay, which is why the net is which is why it looks so cheap here, but actually you are paying 6.72 and the rest comes to the top in Solend tokens. So if you supply Solana and you borrow Solana, let's say you supply 1 and you borrow 1, okay, you will earn 3%, you will pay 6%, so it's a net negative 3%, and you will earn 1.79 plus 3.99, that's 5.78% in Solend rewards. So these Solend rewards will accumulate here. You can claim them on the first of every month. So all the rewards that you earn this month can be claimed on the first of next month. Okay, so these claimable Solend tokens that you see here, this 0.733, I earned this in the month of November. And as of 1st December, which is yesterday, I can claim them if I want to. So these are the ones that I've been earning since December, since 1st of December. I will be able to claim these rewards on the 1st of January. Okay. So basically this is how the interest works. So let's look at USDC. So if you supply USDC, you will earn 7.55% in USDC. Okay. The interest you earn is automatically compounded. Okay, they add it to this balance automatically and it's compounded, and you get 2.68% in Solend rewards. Okay. And similarly, if you borrow 9.37%, you pay 9.73%, 9.37%, but you make back 3.32% in Solend rewards. Okay. Okay. What are the costs involved in using Solend? Okay, of course, they make the difference in interest between borrowing and supplying. They also charge a fee when you borrow. Okay. So let's see. So if you want to supply 1 SRM, you will see you can just type it in even if you don't have it in your wallet, but you won't be able to transact it. You will see that there is no cost involved. Okay. If you borrow 1 SRM, okay, let's make it 100 so that we can see the percentage wise. Okay. So if you borrow 100 SRM, you will see that hey, there's this borrow limit utilization. We'll talk about all this later on. And there's a borrowing fee of 0.01 SRM. Okay. So this is a 0.01 percentage fee. Okay, so for every token that you borrow, they charge a fee of 0.01%. Okay, this is a promotional rate that applies to only certain coins. Okay, just take a look, just make sure just key in 100 and you see it's 0.01%. So from SRM, Serum, all the way to Mercurial, so these are all 0.01%. For the coins on top, which has the additional rewards, these are all, they are charging the normal rate, which is 0.1%. So if you borrow 100 SOL, they charge a 0.1% in the borrowing fee. So do take note of that. Borrowing is not free. I mean, you are paying interest, and on top of interest, you have to pay a one-time 0.1% fee. So if you are going to be, borrowing, returning, just take note of that. Make sure you have enough margin before you do all these transactions. Okay, so whatever you supply, you can withdraw. And when you withdraw, there are no fees. The only fees you need to pay are the Solana gas fees, which is in the region of a few cents. Okay, and when you borrow, however you borrow, so let's say I borrow USDT, you see it's a 0.1% borrow fee. You can repay. Okay? And when you repay, there are no fees as well. Alright. So the only fees incurred is when you borrow. Whenever you borrow, there is fee. Just take note, it's all transparent written there. Just take note of that. Alright. Okay, the interest fluctuates. So let's say if I borrow USDC, I borrow 100 USDC at APY of 9.37%, it's not going to stay 9.37% forever. It will fluctuate depending on the supply and demand. Okay, so my interest is not locked at 9.37. So currently I'm paying 9.37. Later on, if it becomes 10%, I will be paying 10%. Okay, so just take note, interest fluctuates. It is not permanent. That's why sometimes you see I can borrow Radium at 110% because there's an event that requires staking of Radium. So the interest goes up. So if you are borrowing, then you take note of this, you're going to be paying a relatively high interest. Okay, so that's it for the functions of it. Now let's take a look at the right side. These are where all the details are. Okay, you will only be able to borrow a certain percentage of your supply balance. Okay, so to use Solend, you have to supply first. I recommend supplying one of the stable coins. Okay, and let's say you supply 1,000 coins in total, you will be able to borrow up to 75% of the supplied coins. So for instance, if you supply 1,000 USDC, you will be able to borrow 750 USD worth of coins. That means you can borrow any coins in this list up to a value of 750 USD. Okay, that's 75%. Okay, there are two dots here. Okay, the white dot is your borrow limit. That means you cannot borrow more than the white line. Okay, 70%, that's it. You cannot borrow more than that. Okay, the red line is something that you need to take note of. It is the liquidation limit. Okay, once you hit the red line, which is 80%, so let's say you borrowed up to 75%, and your borrowed holdings increased in value tremendously. So originally you bought the coins that you borrow has a value of 750 tokens, 750 USD, and now they increase in price to, let's say, 800 or 850 USD. You will be liquidated. Okay. So they'll just sell everything and they'll take a 5% of the remaining whatever value there is that's remaining. Okay, and after paying off the loan. So you are getting that very little after that. Okay, so do not get close to liquidation limit. If you are getting close to liquidation limit, either supply more tokens or repay some of your borrowings. Alright, so my recommendation is not to even go near the borrow limit, especially if the token you're borrowing is relatively volatile. And when you go to account details, you will be able to see the history of what you have done and when you have done it. And there's also a what if mode. So this is where you can calculate, so let's say I supplied this SOL and I borrow this USDT. What if USDT increases to $10 tomorrow? Then you can see that, I would have burst my limit and I will be liquidated. So if it goes up to 1.1, of course USDT is a stablecoin, it doesn't go up there. You can see that, I exceeded my borrow utilization, but I'm not touching my liquidation threshold, so I will not be liquidated. Okay, I will be liquidated if it goes up to 1.5, things like that. So this is where you can just test and set up scenarios where you can see what can possibly happen. Okay, so it's a very, very easy user interface, and if you're interested to borrow and supply tokens, then I think this is a very good protocol to use. Yeah, that's all I have for today. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. I am not affiliated with Solend in any way. I'm just a user sharing what I've learned. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Well, I gave you all my love and I gave you all my trust and I gave you everything that you need. But you only